Eric, and welcome to Ghana Bakweku YouTube channel, where we document the building process for our dream home in Ghana, West Africa. We hope that you find the content we share helpful, encouraging, and hopefully educating as well. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is Eric, and I wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has been watching our videos, commenting, everyone who's been emailing us. I wanted to say a big thank you to you for giving us, the reassurances that you do, for encouraging us to know that what we're doing is not fluff. There are some emails that I get that make me basically come back to the awareness, a strong awareness and a reassurance of the reason why we are doing what we're doing. And I'm gonna take a moment and read a couple. So we can see, that the news that we, the things that we share here is not something that we're just making up. And as most of you know, the experiences that are in Ghana are not necessarily pleasant for the most part. And the reason why it is good to share these things is so that no one who watches, maybe a snippet of our videos thinks that, we're doing what we're doing just because we don't want someone in Ghana to reap good benefits. We all work hard for our money. So when we want to get some work done, for our money's worth, and someone is busy trying to either swindle us or, not taking us seriously and not, getting things done on task or on time, it's a problem. And that's one of the reasons why, we are in existence, right? BuildConnect Solutions is here so that we can basically do the best we can to change that part of the building process, that experience that makes it difficult for a lot of us to build with confidence in Ghana. That needs to be something that we address, and in our small way, we are doing that. I believe that there is a space for for BCS in this in the building process in Ghana, and this is this is a fact because we've been in we've been in in existence for less than, I would say, since we became a registered company in Ghana. It's been a little under a month, right? This is our certificate showing that we are an official business registered in Ghana, to operate in Ghana. And this is just the beginning of things to come, right? We for currently, you can think of us as an internet space, no brick and mortar, but I believe there's a space for us there in Ghana, and in the right time, whatever it is that we have to do, the right things will come, but for now, let's focus on, helping you get the good materials that you want out of China into Ghana at prices that, will fit your budget, prices that will be cheaper than buying it in Ghana, and for quality that is, I guarantee you, always going to be better than, what you will find in the market, or at least equivalent to in Ghana. All right. So one of the emails I got, was from, a subscriber who saw our videos and wanted to get more information about how to source out of China, through BCS. And why did they contact, contact our company? Why did they contact us by email, right? As you can see on the screen, this part of the email is what gets me. Not only has he been swindled, he's been swindled twice, right? And that is really the part that gets me, that people are so evil in their ways, that someone works hard for their money just for someone to come and abscond with it, and not deliver what they're supposed to deliver. I've seen videos. I saw a video today actually, where a real estate company was mentioned as possibly scamming people, because they've taken full payment from people, and they still haven't delivered on their promise to build houses for people that they've already taken 100% payment from, right? And this issue is not just with artisans, right? The reason why we are here, and a lot of people say, oh, you're taking money from the artisans. That is not what BCS is trying to do. We are trying to get the best, help you get the best quality products that you can get at a price that is more affordable than most of the time you can get in Ghana, and then this gets handed over to a Ghanaian artisan who hopefully can do the work well, right? At least we want to be in this space to help with that. And as you see on the screen, like imagine being swindled, out of money for windows, right? Not on one occasion, but twice, right? And we see these a lot. Another email that I got, and I'm, for this particular subscriber, I'm still waiting for them to get back to me with their measurements. Why is that? Because the person who was supposed to take the measurements for them still hasn't taken it, right? And that's a problem. From both of these emails, the common thing that, I see is, imagine if BCS had, physical presence in Ghana, and we had employees that we could trust, right? Vetted and trust. Both of these, subscribers who contacted me wouldn't have the problem they have, right? Because I personally will make sure that they get their measurements taken, as soon as possible. Because just like they don't want to wait, I don't like waiting either, right? Especially when, what they're being asked to do shouldn't take a month, right? There's no reason why someone should wait since April for measurements of windows to be taken. The reason why that normally happens is because most of these artisans look at things like, oh, go and take a measurement for me, as meaning small money, right? So they'll rather prioritize, oh, go and pour this foundation for me, or go and some more substantial work that will bring them more money than the measurement part. Forgetting that if you take the measurement, the person gets the products, you get the job, right? I'll give you a classic example for my project. I won't name names, but I contacted a fellow YouTuber because I saw windows that were done on their project, and this was a couple of years ago while we were still building the structure. As most of you know, I don't want burglar bars, so I've been doing this window thing as soon as we started building the project, right? During the design stages, I was trying to figure out what can I do to not have to put burglar bars in the house. Now, we managed to get contacts. They went to site. We talked. They looked at the place, took measurements. I never got the measurements, and I never heard back from them. And I stopped chasing after them. The best thing I can figure out from my assumption is that, look, they got there, and in their mind, he's not ready for windows yet. So this is not a job we're going to get anytime soon. So let's go chase something else, right? And that is bothersome to me. There's nothing, that is, in the building process against planning before you have to plan. Actually, it's the best thing that I recommend. If you don't do that yet, I recommend you do that. Because if you plan before you have to need it, someone is not going to come and scam you or make you get something inferior because you're time pressed, right? Do your research ahead of time, right? Measure twice, cut once. I'm not saying you're not going to make any mistakes in the building process, but as you do things like this, you minimize the mistakes that you make. Everyone will make a mistake. That's a promise, right? Even these, established, big, real estate companies, they make mistakes, They probably will be honest with you and they tell you they make a new mistake on every project that they get into, right? So, I'm back to what I was saying about, these measurements. There's no reason why a measurement for windows should take over a month to do, right? It's a 1-day job at most, right? But because they don't value the money that they're going to get from it, they don't give it as much, import as they would something that they think will give them more money. These are some of the things that I think our artisans need to change. And the only way that change comes in is if you and I are, strong-worded in the way we deal with these people, the way we deal with artisans. If we all come in and we're all saying the similar things, right? If you delay, you're gone. I'll give the work to someone else. Stuff like that. People will change, right? The only reason why an artisan will do things like that is because they know that even if you let them go, someone else will give them the job, right? And they'll keep moving on to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, because someone else is always desperate, right? We need to change that narrative. Anyway, with that out of the way, let me pitch BCS to you. Why should you use us? For one, you're going to have an ally, right? We'll listen to you. We'll share experiences with you. And if you're at a stage that we've already gone past, right, we can give you some insights that will be beneficial to you. That's one of the things. But that's just an aside, right? The reason why coming to us to source your materials out of China is advised, is we do the best we can to make the process super cost effective for you. You will end up getting the materials that you want at quality that either matches or surpasses the quality that you get in Ghana for much more expensive, much more, hit on your pocket. You'll get that in China for less through BCS. We were formed by me going into China to look for a door and to look for other things, right? And luckily, I forged a relationship with Sarah that has grown into this business partnership where she knows what I want and I've made it clear to her. If it's not something that I'll accept, it's not something that I'll pitch to another customer, unless the customer says that's what I want, right? There is no, that is something that we've said, flat out. The customer gets what they want, and even if it's more expensive than we would think is the way to go, it's our duty to bring it to the customer and let the customer say, yes, I agree with you, it's more expensive, or no, I don't agree with you, it's within my budget, right? At least we'll try to get you what you want. And cost effectiveness is in this particular, in the BCS equation, cost effectiveness is not subjective. Will make you save more money coming through us in China than you would buying your things in Ghana. That's a fact. Right? That is a fact. Unless you are not ready to buy all the things at once and you're doing one window at a time, then that means that BCS is not for you. And if you're doing that, I'll suggest to you that you don't, but rather save the money, right? If you are afraid to squander the money, that's the reason why you're doing one window at a time. you probably need to, have a sit down and, do a budget or whatever. Be disciplined enough to not spend the money and budget it towards something, right? And if you tell your money where to go, then it knows how to go and wait till it's needed, right? So my recommendation to you is this: building and doing one door or one window at a time, unless you're doing it as a sample, it's not advisable, right? So rather, save the money, come talk to BCS, let's get you an estimate out of China, and I'll tell you so far. And if I'm not telling the truth, any of the people who's come through us can make a comment in the comment section, calling me out. Every quotation that we've gotten has wowed the person we gave it to, right? Our essence is not to, make a whole lot of money. Our essence is to make the experience similar to what I experienced going through China. So that's the cost-effective part. Another thing that makes coming through us, a better bet for you than having to go yourself and buying things from one store and going to the next one and then not finding, the number of boxes you need for, let's say, tiles, right, is we have presence in one of the biggest, industrial cities in China, right, with as many as 500 and something windows factories, right, in the city of Foshan, right? So we have, we have Sarah who lives in that city and knows her way around town, right? Being able to get you a wider range of products, right? So we can source a lot of different things for you. We can give you a lot of different options. We can talk to multiple factories, right? And that's what we do. We not only talk to one, we compare, right? So that we can bring you the best out of a bunch, right? And the best really is a combination of affordability, quality, which we can tell by the physical inspections that we do in the factory, conversations that we have. I'm in video conversations sometimes with Sarah in the factories, and I can tell you if there's a sense that they won't be able to do the work, Sarah actually calls it out first, right? And she has a good read. So far, she hasn't failed. She's had a good read on every single factory that we've picked and used because conversation has been good. We've tried to get them to do things that they normally wouldn't do, like stopping to take pictures of every step of the process, right? They usually wouldn't do that because that's not their part. Their part is just to do the work and get it done. But we've committed to making sure that every part of the process, we have, some way of taking pictures, taking videos, so we can share with the customer whose order we are producing, so they know that this is what is going on, and also they get a feel to be part of the process. Right? I think that's important because that's what I like. I like seeing what is going on in my project, and as best as we can, we try to, replicate something like that, for anyone who comes through us. Another thing is quality control, and it's kind of tied into this, right? Quality control, because Sarah is there, because Sarah knows what we want, she can pop into any of the factories at any time, and we check every single thing, right? To make sure that, it is according to what the design said it will be, according to, the materials, the thicknesses, whatever. We make sure that we scrutinize all of that, right? So that, and that's the hope, so that when the final delivery is made, the customer who came to get materials or products through us does not say, oh, it looked good on video, but I regret it, right? We want to make sure that doesn't happen. And then another one, so the quality part, and I call it the BCS way. We want to make sure that we take everything that we do as if it was coming into our project, right? And I mentioned that earlier. If it won't go into my project, right, I wouldn't pitch it for yours, right? Unless it's something that maybe style, I don't like it, but you like it, you get what you want, right? But when it comes to quality, if I won't accept it, I won't push it on you, and I won't allow it to even come to your door, right? And that's the BCS way. like timeliness and efficiency, right? The process, like as we've been doing this over and over, even for just asking for quotes from different people, we're building a catalog as we go, right? So now it's easier. It's easier than it was, let's say, a month or two ago, to figure out from an invoice, also from a set of measurements that a customer gives us. It's easier for us to say, we think this one should go to this factory, right? Let's go talk to them. We're getting a sense of it. And the more we do it, the better it'll become. We'll become more efficient about it, which would also improve our timeliness in how quickly we can get you a quote. And as you saw in the message I shared earlier, the customer, the subscriber at this point, not a customer yet, but a subscriber was amazed at how quickly I was able to give them an estimate based on some old measurements that they had, right? I was able to give them, a quote within 24 hours, right? And that's normally what we try to do. Unless there are holidays in between, if you give us measurements, we get back to you within 24 to 48 hours, right? You're going to get your estimate. You can look through it, take your time. And if there are any changes that have to be done, you do it, you get back to us. And if you pull the trigger, you pull the trigger, right? That is one of the things that we're getting better at. And the more we do this, the better we will be, right? So if you haven't used us yet, just be thankful to anyone who's used that before, or who's been using us till now. It's just making us better as we go forward. The biggest one for me when it comes to this is customization, right? Being able to not necessarily have to go to a store and buy a stock door, right? From, let's say a stainless steel security door, right? You go to any of the companies in Ghana, any of the stores in Ghana that sells these things, it's already stock, right? So you tell them let's say you want a single door. They give it to you, you bring it to site, right? Whether your wall is a 5-inch block or a 6-inch block, they don't care, right? But our process is, what we do is everything, you might as well just say we customize the door for you, even if it's a standard door. Because what we'll do is we'll ask you to measure the space the door is going to go into, right? And the measurement includes, from floor to ceiling, and floor being the finished floor, right? Screening and tile, right? You need to put that in. So we go from finished floor to the ceiling. Not the ceiling, for the door. From the finished floor to the top of the door, right? Give us that height, give us the width of the opening, give us the thickness of the wall. And if it's a 6-inch block wall, then we're looking at 8 inches because there's an inch, plaster on either side, or on both sides. So that's 6 block, 8 plus 2 inches, so that's 8. Right. So everything that we're doing is basically customized for each doorway. Right. So if you were buying, if you bought the doors through us, once they come, hopefully they plop right into place. Right. You don't have to break any walls. You don't have to fill in any gaps because, you had a 6-inch, you had a 5-inch block and you had a doorway, a frame that was bigger than 5 inches. Right. So that's one of the things that I like about it. And even more so, like, for example, tiles, right? And I see this a lot, and it kind of like it makes me cringe, right? Artisans trying to do their best to design things like a flight of stairs, right? With tiles that are not meant for that span, right? The width of the step, right? The run of each step. Right. So what they do is they try their best to cut different size, tiles and fit them. And what you normally end up seeing is that because the pattern was an afterthought, it looks weird, right? It might not look symmetric on both sides because one size where they had to fill in the gap was bigger than the other one. Why? Because they laid the big tiles first, forgetting that there are gaps on either side, right? So instead of designing first before putting, mortar to the back of the tile, tile cement to the back of the tile and setting it down to set, right? Instead of making sure that you do the loose setup first, come up with your design before doing the work, they don't. If you come through BCS for your stairs, one option that you have is we can tell you how to measure your stairs. And as you can see in this video, right, we can cut tiles to the width of your step, right? So you don't have to patch anywhere. And as you also see in this video, right, we can cut these, so we can do customization. We can cut these, anti-slip grooves into the step of the tile, right? The run of the tile, so of the step, right, on the tile for the step, so that, it looks good. What all you have to do, as long as the measurement was good, all you have to do is put it in place, right? Set it, it's good, right? These are the things that we can do for you that none of the stores in Ghana will do for you. So this is one of the reasons why you should come to us. We'll customize everything for you. You're seeing it on the screen here. This is work that we did for a subscriber, and it's currently on the oceans going to Ghana. You know who you are, Mr. KS. Thank you. So that's for me. Anything that we can do to make your building look seamless, not have some tireless, best attempt at making sure that the constraints that they have on tiles that are not the right size being cut and not being cut well, and being forced to design something when they are not really, not every tiler has an artistic eye, right? A lot of them are just technical. So if you don't have an artistic-eyed tiler, don't expect to see some that nice design pattern, right? We see it all the time where you can tell that there are marks made in the tile that are, the tiler designed it, the production company, the tile company designer designed that to follow a certain pattern, but people put them together wrong, so the whole thing looks like a mess, right? It's because they don't have an artistic eye. They don't understand the patterns, right? If you're lucky and you get someone who knows how to do those things, then a lot of these problems will be reduced. But one thing that I know for a fact is none of these big box stores or these tile stores that we go to in Ghana will be able to custom make tiles for your steps like you see in the video. All right. If you find someone who can do it for you, let me know. We can do that for you. Let me see. Another thing, I talked about it. I talked about the number of factories, right? That's the advantage we have. Where Sarah lives, she lives in an industrial hub. And we have, a lot of factories, tiles, doors, windows, solar, what have you, right? Sanitary ware, a lot of them. Furniture. There's this store that Sarah told me about. I'll see if I can put a video in here, where she told me for the furniture version of this store, she said it will take me more than a week to be able to visit every store in that space, and it's in one place. So you can imagine that. So if we are sourcing things out of that place, you better believe we can get you best quality, right? It doesn't mean that some people are not selling, inferior things there, right? But we are committed to making sure that, once again, if we will not go into Ghana Bakweku's house, if it's not a quality that we will accept for our place, we won't accept it for you, right? That's a promise. Some things to consider, and I think I've talked about one of them earlier. If you plan well and you get the things that you need before you need them, then the shipping 6 weeks does not bother you, right? Unless you are time pressed and have to move into a house maybe the next month or whatever, then maybe shipping, maybe, definitely. If you didn't plan and you come and talk to me today and you tell me I need goods from China for my house, I need windows from China for my house to put in, and I need to move it next month, I'll tell you we cannot do it, right? Because production takes about 40 days and then shipping will take another month and a half. So there's no way we can deliver that. And the last thing I want to do is lie to anyone. So I'll tell you flat out, we cannot do it, right? The timeline doesn't make it, possible. It's not feasible. It will not work. Another thing is shipping cost, and shipping cost is going up. And that is eventually going to affect everything, right? Our service, it will affect Ghana as well. Probably more so because all these companies in Ghana who are shipping and paying all these prices, they pass it on to us, the end user or the end buyer, right? So those are things that I would say consider. Make sure that you give yourself time. Make sure that you, especially looking through our catalogs, right? I'll be honest with you. When I look through tile options that we have, I feel like a kid in a candy store. I'm overwhelmed. I still can't pick tiles for my project, right? Because I keep seeing more and more, and it makes it even worse. I have, more people asking for tiles, so I keep seeing more variety, and I'm like, I want this one, I want this one, I want that one, I want this one. Sarah made fun of me. She said I should, do my tiles like you see on the screen, right? Get a little bit of everything and just create a kaleidoscope of, of tiles. Not going to do that. I'll make my mind up at some point. But, saying that was to let you know that you're going to be like, if you're like me, you'll be overwhelmed, right? Our doors catalog, overwhelming. Our windows catalogs, overwhelming. Tiles, overwhelming. So if you already have an idea of what you want, then maybe that is what you pitch to us, and we'll try to do our best to find the exact thing for you or find a comparable one for you, right? The reason why, especially for tiles, the reason why we have to go comparables is because tiles go out of style, and you cannot ask a factory to do a custom thing for you unless you are buying about at least 2,000 square meters of tiles. I don't think any of us is going to buy that, right? Which is where maybe a co-op will come in. But do we really want everyone in the co-op to have the same tile on their floor? Maybe, big, real estate companies, right, who are designing maybe an estate that works, right? But for you and I building singular properties, maybe 3,000 square feet or whatever floor, whatever it is that we might have, on the higher side, 3,000 square feet. Some people have more than that. Most people have less. They're not gonna, custom make those outdated tiles for you. So it becomes difficult to pick tiles from the web and say, I want exactly that, right? You have to be ready to accept that you might not get exactly what you want, and you might have to live with something that looks closer to it, right? Yeah, I think, I think we've covered a whole lot. I have another video that I'm gonna do comparing, ceramic to porcelain. And once that video is ready, I'll put it up. In the meantime, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Toggle all post notifications so that when we do post new content, you'll be one of the first to be, informed. I thank you, every customer who's come, to talk to us, people who've already, gotten their orders in, people who are still looking through invoices we've given you. Take your time and look through them. If you've got an invoice that looks overwhelming to you, come talk to us. Let's see what can be done. I don't think anything overwhelming is because the price is too expensive. But regardless of what it is, if there's anything that you think we can help you do, talk to us, right? And at some point, I will try to do a compilation video to say thank you to everyone who's come through us. Maybe when their orders get to Ghana and they give us footage and then clearance, of course, that we can share some of their stuff on the net. On YouTube, we'll do that. But we are helping people, right? We are helping some people. Windows are being produced for people as we speak. Tiles are being selected for people as we speak. Doors are being done for people as we speak. We are sourcing quotations from multiple factories for other people. So we've been busy, but we're doing this for you, and we appreciate the the time that you spend in deciding and coming to talk to us, and hopefully sticking with us through it all. I want to leave this here and say to you, don't be disheartened by the fact that it's going to be shipped from abroad. The worst thing you can do is to not find an alternative, right? There's nothing wrong with shopping around, right? Even if you go to Spintex Road, there's no monopoly, right? You can go to one store and then go to the next one and then go to the next one and then compare. And sometimes, unfortunately, you are forced to go to multiple places, not to compare, but to buy one more box because the other one had only 2 when you needed 3, right? Anyway, thanks again for being part of this family. I can't say thank you enough. If there's anything that we can help you with, please reach out. Our email is on the screen, buildconnectsolutions@gmail.com. And if it's something personal that you want to reach out to me separately, you can use my email address, barnangh@gmail.com. And let's build these houses, right? Let's overcome these hurdles. And in the process, let's cause a revolution. I appreciate you all.